Well, new tonight here in The Current, we are talking about small businesses and the women that run them. But first, let's talk about a nonprofit. The Iowa Center for Economic Success is certified by the Federal Small Business Administration. It's operated out of Des Moines for decades. But in 2021, the center decided to expand with an Eastern Iowa office in Muscatine. Since then, the center has provided coaching, lending, and tax services to more than 500 local small businesses and helped the launch of 84 new businesses in Eastern Iowa. And now the center is expanding its Muscatine services with a brand new women's business center. It will be only the second such office in the entire state of Iowa. So joining us now to chat about this is Erin Strawn, Director of Advancement for the center. Erin, thank you so much for being here. Why don't we start with the center's work in Eastern Iowa? What have been your takeaways since opening the Muscatine office?
Shelby, thanks so much for having me on to talk about the Iowa Center and our work to empower Iowans to launch and grow successful and sustainable small businesses. The Iowa Center, as you said, has been serving small business owners in Iowa for more than 30 years. And in 2021, with support from the Stanley family and in partnership with Muscatine Community College and the Community Foundation of Greater Muscatine, we were able to expand our services to offer access to in-person business coaching through an office in Muscatine. Over the last 3 years, we have had the opportunity to run a pilot program where we assessed the demand for support for small business. And we also looked at different models to figure out how we could best provide those services in Eastern Iowa. And, we had two big takeaways. The first is that in Eastern Iowa, there is huge demand for access to business coaching, access to capital through our credit and lending department, and for access to tax support through our tax services department. The second takeaway that we had, after modeling a couple of different methods of delivering those services, we have determined that providing those services in person is the most effective way to help those small business owners in Eastern Iowa launch and grow their small businesses.
All right, so what was the need specifically that you were seeing for women?
It's interesting. So what we have found is that there are a lot of women they kind of become accidental small business owners, but they don't always identify themselves as small business owners. They say, oh, I make these cookies and I just sell them at the local farmer's market. Or, oh, well, I was staying home with my kids and my neighbor needed childcare. And so I'm just watching the neighbor's kids at home. And, what they don't realize is if you're providing a good or a service and you're taking money for that good or service, you are a small business owner. And by not recognizing themselves and taking on that identity of I am a woman and I am a small business owner, they often are not taking the steps that they need to make that small business financially sound, to make sure that they're complying with all of the rules and regulations, and to be, we say that we want for small business owners to be always ready. We need for them to be always ready when need or opportunity arises. But if you don't think you're a small business owner, you're not taking those steps. So by having a women's business center, we are creating an opportunity for that outreach and for that connection for women to come in and to take those classes and get access to that one-on-one counseling so that they can take the steps to make their small business financially sound and to make sure that it's secure and always ready for the future.
It's a big job, Erin. We're so glad someone is there to help all these small business owners throughout Eastern Iowa. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Shelby.
As always, you guys at home can share this story and check out more with the center and its Muscatine office on WQAD.com.